So hello and welcome to another video. I'm pretty excited. I've made a long trip down to Linear and I'm currently sitting on St. John's. I am really feeling positive about this session. It's been doing a few fish, this place, and it's my first time I've ever been to Linear and the first time I've fished this water, obviously. I've got a lot to do. I've set the bivvy up, I've chosen my swim, there has been a few fish out since I've been here as well, so everything is looking positive. I think I'm going to approach the session quite softly. I'm going to start off on solid bags and work on it from there. I'd rather start off on the back foot rather than pile a load of bait in, see if I can nick a bite early on. There is quite a lot of fish in here. I don't know too much about the stock. I'm sure there's people watching this that know a lot more about it than I do, so I'm not even going to pretend to know it, and I don't want to relay any false information. All I do know is there's some good fish in here. I'm eager to get going, so yes, we'll have a bit of a catch up in a bit and we'll talk about the tactics and what I'm actually doing. But for now, let's get them rods out. Well, that is it. We are fishing. The rods are out there. It hasn't taken me too long. To be honest, it took me longer to get the bags and that sorted than it did to actually find some features out there. I found a big gravel bar out there. It's around about 66 yards, this gravel bar. And rather than go on top of it, I've gone over the back of it. I'm actually fishing at 17 wraps. All three rods aimed to the same area. It's a little bit wild, but the thing that's stopping me from going longer is the bank that's to the right of me here. They're all coming over and they're all fishing long. and Tom Maker, he's on, like, I don't know what that swim's called, but he's fishing to the corner of that far bank over there. That's a no fishing bank over there, and he's picked up a couple of fish from that area, so they definitely seem to be coming down that no fishing bank. And I've seen a guy fishing a point swim as well have a couple of fish, which fishes along the side of that no fishing area. But here I'm out in the main bowl, so to speak. I just want to assess the situation to see whether or not I can go a bit longer. I'm not too sure what my boundaries are, so you know, I've dropped a bit short. Tom is the next person round to me on that bank over there, and I know that I could go a bit longer to where he's actually fishing. I could actually push out a bit further, and it wouldn't affect him. But if anybody drops to the right of me, that's where I'm going to have the trouble, you see. So I might just, you know, wait until a bit later on, and if I can go a bit longer, I will do. But for now, you know, I'm using that gravel bar. You know, it's a big feature. They've got a patrol up and down that. It's quite a steep, you know, as I was pulling that lead back, you can feel it bump up, bump up, bump up, bump up, and then when it gets on top, just skips across, and then it comes down really quickly. So it is a really big gravel bar. And like I said, all three on the back of that. I haven't put any bait in yet. I've just gone in with solid bags. We'll touch on what bait I am going to put in a bit more detail a bit later on, but for now I just want to see if I can nick a bite. I mean, the timing's all wrong, it's dinner time-ish now. It's not good for a bite. However, the conditions are with us on this session, albeit very, very stormy. We've got Storm Brendan coming in at the moment. Yes, so it's going to be unpleasant for me, but hopefully it's going to help the fishing. And like I say, I've seen a couple of fish come out. Tom's had a couple, the lad next to me's had a couple. He's fishing out long towards that no fishing bank. And like I say, the guy on the point swim, he's had a couple of fish as well. So they're not too far away from me. I've just got to try and, you know, locate them in my swim. So yes, I feel confident. The fish are not too far away from me, even if they're not already there. I haven't seen anything show in front of me yet, but a couple of pegs down I did see one show sort of mid-zone, which is round about the distance where I'm fishing. So I'm feeling very hopeful and very confident. Let's hope we can get off to a good start. This is the first session of the year. And not only that, we're testing the new camera equipment. I've got all new cameras now, so it is the trial run with them. Hopefully we have no hiccups and everything goes to plan. I have been playing about with them since I got them for Christmas, but I've got a new DSLR and a new action camera. I mean, for anybody that's interested, I got the Canon 80D and a GoPro Hero 7 Black. That's the combination that I'm using at the moment. So yes, in the solid bags I've got my usual mix in there, you know, huge confidence in them 2mm pellets. I've got the isolate pellets in there, and I've also got some fast breakdown pellets in there, heavily glugged in beta stim, and then I've also got a little bit of the LM94 ground up in there. Liver is an awesome additive this time of year. I mean, going back quite a few years ago, you know, I was always adding liver powder to my mix at this time of year. It's really good in cold water liver. I don't know what it is with it. I won't pretend to be a bait expert because I am not, but I know what works, and I've had good success over the years by putting liver powder in. But since I've been using the LM94 boilies, you know, I've done really well through the winter, you know, fishing a fish meal boilie, which is unheard of. You know, most people switch over to your high proteins and your nut based, but I've stayed fishing on the liver. You know, I fished it last winter, did well, and we'll see how this winter goes. So I'm going to give it, you know, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, and if nothing's happened, then I might introduce a little bit of bait. I'm not talking a lot, I'm probably talking 5 or 6 spawns just over that general area. I'm fishing 3 quite tight together, and I don't really want to put them really tight. You know, just the odd one here and there. just to spread it out a little bit, just so there's a little bit of extra food out there for them to pick out, and then fish the solid bags over the top. It's a really good presentation, that, especially on waters where there's a lot of fish. You know, you get some used to picking the odd bit up, and then they come across your little parcel of bait, and it's game over. Hook bait of choice is the good old faithful banana and pineapple. There's a lot of corn in my mix, so it seems, you know, stupid not to use yellow, but at the moment I've got 2 out on banana and pineapple. They're both yellow, little 12 millers, and then I've also got a TX1 tiger nut out there, which is white. Just edging my bets. If that white doesn't go, I might switch it over to a pink. We'll just, you know, keep ringing the changes on waters like this where there's a heavy stock of fish. Sometimes if you keep changing them hook bait colours, it can get you them extra bites. But for now, we've just got to concentrate on getting that first bite, so fingers crossed, and I'll keep you posted. Well, good evening, and it is really wild out there at the moment. I mean, to be honest, it's actually a little bit better than it was earlier on. We had some torrential rain earlier, and this wind just does not seem to be letting up at all. I've had to dip the rod tips under the water because I was getting a lot of liners from the wind. But I'm still feeling really confident. Nothing's happened. The rods have been out there for a couple of hours now. But the bailiff has just been round and he's assured me that this is a good nighttime area, and not only that, the spot that I am fishing is the spot that he said fish, so you know, I'm pleased to be fishing a known spot, so to speak, because I didn't know that at all. I just found that gravel bar and thought, right, I'm going to go down the back of it, because in my mind I'm thinking a lot of people would go on top of it. But the bailiff says, no, get out there 70 yards that gravel bar and go down the back of it, and that is where I'm already fishing. So I'm feeling quite positive about that. And Tom's not long had another fish as well. I think he's had 4 fish now since I've been here. And he's not too far away from where I'm fishing. So I think it's just a matter of time. Hopefully that, you know, the bailiff is right and he says this area comes into its own at night time. But from what I have seen, you know, I'm in the point swim on the opposite side. He's had a couple of fish today, but other than that, everything else that I seen come out was as I was walking around this morning. I got here around about 10 o'clock ish, yeah, and I seen a couple of fish come out before dinner time. But since then I've only seen Tom have one and that guy on the point swim have one. So, you know, I'm still feeling super confident. I've just put out 4 spoms of baits. Like I say, it's been a couple of hours now and I just wanted to put a little bit out there. So yes, everything is set. It's just gone 4:30. I'm not sure if I've just said that, and the light is fading pretty quick now. Hopefully tonight will be a good one. If not, I'm sure we'll pick up something in the morning. I am feeling super confident. The conditions are absolutely bang on for it. Low pressure, strong winds, stormy, and it's mild as well. Just everything you want for this time of year, really. And so far I'm getting along nicely with the camera.
Everything is down to me now, shooting in fully manual with everything. I mean, before this camera I had the Canon 600D and I really struggled with that, filming myself in manual mode, because it didn't have autofocus on there. Well, it did have autofocus, but when you have that automatic autofocus on, it zits. The lens on it was just going zzz, zzz, zzz all the time, and it picked up on the microphone. So, you know, filming in manual, it made it really, really hard filming yourself. It was alright if you was filming, you know, other people or stuff about and around, you know, all that bit was good, but, you know, now it's a different story. I can film myself in full manual, I can get everything set bang on. So hopefully, you know, that's going to give the element to the videos what it has been missing, cut out a lot of that noise and grain on the dark shots. And then, you know, we've got the GoPro to back that up, a lot of slow motion footage. You know, I can really push on now and make these videos a lot better. And it's cost me, you know, it's cost a lot of money to get the equipment that I've got, and hopefully you guys will see the benefit from that. You know, it's all about building up, and I do believe that, you know, we're long past that stage. We should have swapped ages ago, but, you know, money's hard, especially around Christmas time. But luckily the wife, you know, helped out. She bought me the GoPro for Christmas, and the camera I bought for myself, the DSLR should I say. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on about that. More to the actual fishing. I'm going to stick with the solid bags. I'm going to stick with the same hook baits. I might bring that white in though and switch it to a pink before the night's out, before I turn in for the night, just to try something different. If nothing's happened on any of the rods before I turn in for the night, I might just redo them anyway, just so, you know, I've got a fresh bag out there so I can turn in for the night feeling super confident. It is very tricky getting the rigs out there, especially bags, fishing a crosswind. You've got to catch it just right, punch it low and hard. But they are going out there, and the spawns went out there alright as well. I mean, I said I put 4 out, I actually put 5 out. 1 went adrift, so I just wrote that one off. And the other 4, I just punched them low and it went out there alright. I am struggling at the moment though to get any sort of footage for you because of the weather. It's constantly drizzling, and I'm cleaning the lens all the time. So, you know, hopefully we get a bit of a break in the weather tomorrow, so we can capture a bit of good footage, so to speak, but the cinematic stuff. But for now, I'm going to leave it there, and hopefully the next time you see me, it will be with something carpy. Well, we are off the mark, and it's taken a little longer than I expected. It's just gone 10:30, so it's still early yet, but to be honest, I really thought I was on for a bite earlier. But nonetheless, I'm really pleased to get off the mark. It's the first fish of the year and a new venue. He's not a monster by any means. He's just gone £18.12, but he's made me very, very happy indeed. It is pouring down with rain. The wind's calmed down at the moment, so I want to be quick and get him back. So here he is, look. A nice pretty little mirror, that, a scaly banger as they like to say. He'll do for starters. Let's hope there's more to come, and hopefully a 30. That'd be the cherry on the cake for this session. I'll just quickly spin him round. Beautiful fish, that, absolutely beautiful. He come to the pineapple and banana. Lovely jubbly. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to slip him straight back and we'll have a catch up in a bit. Well, good morning, and I'm afraid to report not a lot has happened. It's not just for me neither. I've not seen anything come out the lake this morning. I've been up since first light, looking about, and I've not seen anybody land a fish. Last night though, the guy that was on the first point swim, he definitely had at least 3 or 4 fish that I seen, possibly more. But today is a total different contrast. I mean, it has changed weather-wise dramatically, the air pressure especially. It's right up into like 10:30s today, whereas yesterday it was right down to 10:05 and 10:03. So you know, that's the biggest change. And not only that, the sun's poking through a little bit. I'm not seeing any fish show out there neither. But you know, it's all still to play for. We've got plenty of time left. I have got another 2 nights left. So I'm still feeling pretty confident. And we've done the hardest part, getting that first bite. The lad to the left of me, he had a couple of fish yesterday, and he hasn't had anything today neither. He's not had anything since them fish yesterday. So the fact that I nicked one last night, you know, it makes me feel confident that we can make something else happen. I did top up a little bit this morning. I say this morning, it was about 9 o'clock. I waited for that key period to pass. And then I put 4 spawns of bait out there. Not a lot. And what I am putting out, it's just a little bit of particle and a bit of boilie crumb. It's mostly made up of sweet corn. There's a few maples and a few groats in there. And with a sprinkling of hemp. You know, just a mix that they can break down easy. I don't like putting out a lot of boilies this time of year. I mean, I always err on the edge of caution anyway. You'll probably have guessed that from the way I fish. I always think less is more, in my opinion. But, you know, this time of year, when the water levels, when the water temperature drops, you know, I always move away from the, you know, the high oil mixes and putting out a lot of bait. And I look to using more things that are more water soluble, which is why I like using the beta-lin liquid, or beta stim as people call it. And you know, a good way of checking that is just to pop your oil in the fridge overnight and see what the texture's like in the morning. I mean, generally, you know, it sounds a bit strange, but things like vegetable oil, you know, they don't go nowhere near as thick as things like salmon oil and stuff like that. So I still use a little bit of that when I'm using it, that is. But predominantly it's beta stim that I use. And I like to use liver powder or crumbed up LM94 as the same effect. So yeah, that's my mix, keeping it very, very simple. I mean, the main pulling power comes from them pellets, you know, huge confidence in them. That's where the main pulling power comes from, in my opinion. And with that little fleck of yellow sitting in amongst it, yeah, it's done me so many bites that makes over the winter. Hopefully it'll do me a few more bites this session. But I'm going to keep my eyes peeled and see if we can build on it. Things have changed. The Fox lads have packed up. The guy to the left of me started packing up. Somebody's moved into the right of me. So the angling pressure's changed around the lake. And the fact that the Fox lads have gone will probably help me, because they was basically fishing behind where I'm fishing. So there's a bit less line pressure out there. So it might help them come into contact with me. But you never know, somebody else will probably turn up and end up going over there anyway. But if not, it does give me an option of putting the rod longer if I want to as well. But you know, we'll wait and see. But for the moment, until I see anybody catch anything, I think I'm doing the right thing. I mean, if other people was catching and I wasn't, I would be panicking. I'd be thinking, you know, I'd be thinking about changing hook baits for starters, but as it stands, that's not the case. So fingers crossed things pick up. I'm going to stop waffling on and we'll have a bit of a catch up later on. Well, good evening, and it's fast come round. It doesn't feel like 5 minutes ago since I got up. Today has just flown by, and not that I've had a lot to do other than watch the water. I've been watching the water, watching other people, and I'm still yet to see anybody land a fish today. It really is hard going at the moment. But I have seen a couple of fish show short. I've seen 3 fish show short now, about 30 yards out to my right. So I have I've just redone the rods. I've put 2 back out on the main spot down the back of that gravel bar. And I've moved one closer in. 8 wraps out I'm fishing. I just put the lead out there just to have a quick feel across, just to see what I'm fishing over. And it's a bit of dying weed that's out there. It's quite a soft bottom, bit of dying weed. So I've put a solid bag over the top of that, no bait around it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that produces something. It's the only place I've seen a fish show today. And it's not like I've just seen the one neither. I've seen 3 fish show over that area, so I'm feeling really hopeful for that rod. The main spot out there, all the rods was out from this morning. I haven't touched them all day, and then I put that bait out this morning, so I'm not going to put any more bait out there. And like I said, I've just redone the rods, so I'm just going to rely on them bags. And if anything else doesn't happen by the morning, I still won't put any more bait out. I'm just going to feed to the bites. Well, that's the plan anyway. Hopefully we get a few more bites. What a total different contrast to yesterday. I just can't believe how different it is. I'm really pleased it's not raining though, because that was really uncomfortable yesterday. It just rained all day and all night. It made it really hard work to do anything, especially when you're fishing with PVA. But you know, it only takes one bite, it really does, and there's a few nice fish to go at in here. I mean, if the website's correct, you know, it says there's around 400 fish in here. It's 18 acres. And it says at least, oh, there's a fish. Ooh, again, not too far out. That was a bit further. That was probably about 50 yards out, that. Yes, and as I was saying, yeah, it says that there's at least 40 fish over the 30-pound mark. And at the right time of the year, 7 of the fish go over 40 pound. And I believe the box common is the biggest. It doesn't actually say on the website which fish it is. It just says common 48 pound, so I'm just assuming it is that fish. And not that I want to relay any wrong information across, because I'm, like I say, it's the first time I've been here and it's not really been on my radar as such. I've always known it's had special fish in it, you know, obviously from watching the Corda stuff, what they did on here, that underwater stuff, and that fully plated that used to be in here. Oh man, was that a fish. So, you know, it's got a lot of history, this place. There's a lot of people that like coming here, and I can see why. I mean, I can't fault the place. I've fallen in love with it, so to speak. It's my cup of tea. About the only negative that I can say about the place is the swims are too close together and nobody really knows the boundaries. That is probably the only negative thing I can say. But other than that, you know, it's day ticket carp fishing, and like anywhere where there's some good fish to be had, everybody wants a piece of that action. That is why I'm sitting here now, and that's probably why you're watching this. Well, I really do hope it happens tonight. Just one 30-pounder. I'm not bothered about catching multiple fish or anything like that. I always like to catch the better fish over a big hitter fish. That's just the way I roll. Or at least I try to anyway. But lots planned for the next few months. In fact, February I'm fully booked for tutorials, so February is a really busy month for me. I might be able to squeeze another session in this January before the tutorials start. I'm possibly considering going to Mallard on Bluebell. I quite fancy a crack on there. I just have to re-spool the line, re-spool the reels if I do. The line that I've got on, it's not a very good casting line. And I would struggle to hit the distances I need to on Mallard. But yeah, it's going to be a cracking year, or at least I'm going to try and make it a cracking year. I've got a few really good special trips planned this year. One of them being to Home Fen, and we're off to France this year as well. I'm going back to Ictus. So yes, a couple of big fish waters on the cards, and I'm itching to get back on Swan. I really am. I've really missed it, but not being on there. I mean, if I thought there was any chance of a bite, I'd be sitting there now, but it just doesn't fish well through the winter. And I'm not one for camping. I like to have a chance at catching something. That is why I'm sitting here right now. Anyway, I'm not going to keep going on and on because I don't want to make the video too long. So I'll leave it there and I'll keep you updated. Hopefully you shall be seeing me very soon with a fish, but if not, I shall see you in the morning. Well, it hasn't been too long since I spoke to you. It's just gone 6 o'clock now. And you're going to laugh your pants off when you see this fish. Here's me just being on about catching a 30, like to catch the better fish. Well, just wait until you see this one. I'm not even going to weigh it. And there he is, look. Probably the smallest in the pond, but who cares? It's another bite and it's early doors. And funnily enough, I had an occurrence just before this one as well on the close-in rod. Absolute screaming take, and I lifted the rod up and there was nothing there. And then I was just sorting that out, and then this rod ripped off of the main spot down the back of the gravel bar. So there's fish in the vicinity. It's looking very promising. I'm going to slip this little fella back and see if we can make something else happen.
I choose to think positively, no matter what's going on around me. I have a great life, and will continue to have a great life. Every breath, I
Well, good morning. And it was quite a quiet night. I did have another fish after that one, but that one was even smaller than the other. It was probably about £3. Here's a picture of that. So yes, it all seems to go very quiet in this area for me in the daytime. Things have changed today as well. The lake's become very, very busy. And where I was fishing out at 17 wraps, there's a guy casting over from where Tom was fishing the other day. There's a guy casting over there, and it's just too close. So I've actually dropped back a bit, which isn't a bad thing, because last night I did see a few fish showing short, sort of around between 40 and 50 yards. So I've changed things slightly this morning. I've put 2 out at 12 wraps. Found a nice clear area out there. There's a little bit of weed dotted here and there, but I've put 1 out on a solid bag, fishing the same rig as I have been. But then I've slightly changed on one rod. I've gone over to a lead clip system, and I've gone slightly bigger on the bait and hook, just to see if I can pick out something a bit bigger. I'm using a 15mm pop-up on that. In fact, I'm actually trying a pink at the moment. I've got the TX1 squid and octopus on there, and I'm still sticking with the pineapple and banana on the 12mm. Yeah, the rig that I've switched to, it's the size 6 claw. It's actually a combi rig. If I can get that to focus in, there you go. Yeah, so I've got 20 pound fluorocarbon. Yeah, it's not focusing, but you can see what I mean. It's about 7 inches long. It just enables me to put a 15mm pop-up on. Conditions look better today though, it really does. And then my inline lead, on the bag lead, I've just got a short section of unleaded leader down to a 3-ounce inline lead. I'm not fishing it drop-off style. I don't feel the need to drop the lead. And then the rig itself is just 4 inches of PB product silk wire. And then I've got a little BB shot and a size 7 claw. I don't know if that's going to focus in. It's not focusing in very well. Oh yes, you can see it there now. So yes, that's done me 3 bites so far, that one. But I really do feel like I should have had more. I mean, everything seems to be sort of early night, the action that I am getting. But we'll persevere. You never know. That other rig that I've put out there, I'm not sure how it's going to affect things coming short, but from what I've seen last night, I don't think it's going to hurt things at all. I have seen a couple of fish out this morning. The guy that's fishing over where Tom was fishing, he's had 2 fish this morning. But he's fishing way out long. I mean, to be honest, it's sort of a similar area to where I was fishing. But it is what it is. Everybody seems to be casting over everybody. It seems to be that everybody wants to go out to that middle zone. I'm still going to persevere with that one out at 8 wraps. I had a bit of an occurrence on that last night. I believe I got done on that. Bobbin just pulled up tight and then stayed there. You know, it kind of makes me feel like I got done on that rod. I don't know for sure, but that's the way I'm thinking. I might even tie a couple of more rigs up as well, and move up from a size 7 claw to a size 6, just to see whether that makes a difference. You know, it's all learning things, especially on a new water. But we've had 3 bites, you know, not big fish, but fingers crossed we can make it happen for the last night. We've still got plenty of time left. So yes, I'm going to leave it there, and we'll have a little bit of a catch up later on.
Well, good evening, and I have to apologise for not doing much camera work today, but it's been raining for most of the day, so it's made it quite hard work. It's just gone 4 o'clock now, and I've got the rod sorted a bit early because I had a bit of a gap between the weather. I mean, it's still raining, but it's not raining as heavy. I've changed things slightly. A couple of reasons. The guy to the right of me, he's baited very, very heavily. I mean, he wasn't even clipped up, and he was just spodding here, there and everywhere, like a big area, and he was doing that for about an hour, so God knows how much bait he put in. But that was quite close to where I was fishing at 8 wraps, so I didn't feel confident leaving that rod there. It's a shame really, because I felt really confident of a bite on that rod, especially after I think I got done on that rod last night. But hey ho, that's day ticket fishing for you. So they're all out at 12 wraps now. I still can't fish long because that guy's still casting right over. So that's the furthest I can fish at the moment. But I feel quite confident. There was fish in the area last night, around 40 to 50 yards, and that's where I'm fishing. So fingers crossed. I've kept things the same. I've still got one on the lead clip system, and I've got 2 on the solid bags. They're all on yellow at the moment. I did have the pink on all day, but they're all back out on yellow on pineapple and banana. I've got 2 on the 12mm, they're what's in the solid bags, but I've upped the hook size on them. I've gone up to a size 6 hook from a size 7, just to see if it makes a difference, because thinking that I got done on that rod last night has been playing on my mind a bit, so that's what I've changed to try and compensate for that. And then the rig on the lead clip system, that's still fishing the same, a size 6 with a 15mm pop-up. I have just deposited 4 spombs of bait out there, not in one spot. What I've done is I've staggered them, I've put them in a line. So I haven't got to fish the rods too tight together. I've allowed myself a bit of space in between in case I need to recast in the night. At least I'm still fishing over a bit of bait. Well, I'd really like to catch one big one before we go home. To be honest, I do feel quite deflated. I feel as though I should have made something else happen. I feel like there's something I've not quite got right. I mean, if anything, the location, that's the biggest thing. But at least now, I've seen it with my own eyes, and next time I come back, I know where to start, I know what to look for. The first time you fish anywhere, it's always a learning curve. There's just so much you've got to pick up on that first session. And I should be thankful that I have had some bites, albeit 3 small fish, but I should be thankful for that. Yes, because there is people fishing here, and there's people that's done a couple of nights and gone home without a fish, so not everybody is catching. So I've got to take some positive away from what I've done already, but I just can't help but feel a little bit deflated. I feel like I should have had something more. I should have had more, should I say. But I'll keep persevering. If nothing has happened by, say, sort of 10 o'clock time tonight, then I'll be getting worried. I'll be thinking, I need to be fishing longer, but I can't at the moment. I mean, where I was getting the bites from previous was at 17 and a half wraps. So, I can't go down the back of that gravel bar anymore. But, that said, I did see them fish show short between 40 and 50 yards, so fingers crossed they turn up. The only difference tonight is there's a lot more line pressure out there, so I don't know if they will turn up where there was last night, but we'll see. We can only hope. If I could have moved today, I would have done, I think. I mean, I could have moved up into the shallow end of the lake, but I just wanted to be down here. From what I've seen and heard, majority of the fish are getting caught down here at the moment. And not only that, it's been pissing it down all day, and it's not nice moving in the rain. Now, if there'd have been a move on that was worth moving, I'd have still done it though. Anyway, I'm going to get some tea on, stop waffling on and making this video really long. Hopefully the next time you'll see me, it'll be with some carpy action. Well, good morning, and unfortunately not a lot happened last night. I didn't have a bite at all whatsoever. I did get a liner on one of the rods about 11 o'clock, but other than that I've not got anything to report. It really has been a tough session, and I don't feel like I've done as well as I should have done. I know I've said that before, but you know, I can't help but feel a little bit deflated. I suppose that guy next to me putting all that bait in hasn't helped the situation. But you know, that is what it is. It's day ticket fishing. You never know, that big one might come along next time I come. Well, I was up at first light this morning having a good look across the lake. I haven't seen much show. I have seen the odd fish show, but it does look good for a bite out there. It's low pressure today, nice bit of wind coming across, and it's overcast and rather mild for this time of year. But you know, I have not had a bite in the daytime yet since I've been here. But when I redid the rods this morning, I actually put out some food bait instead of yellow and pink and white, which I have been trying. I put out some LM94 wafters, again with the pellet mix, just to see whether we can make something happen before I go. To be honest, I think that's going to be it for the session, and unless anything else does happen, I'm going to leave it here, because I ain't got long left and I need to start packing up. But it's been enjoyable. You know, I don't feel like I've done as well as I should have done, but it's like anything, when you come to a new lake for the first time, you've got a hell of a lot to learn. And from what I've seen this time, I feel much more confident coming back again. One thing that I haven't mentioned, which I think is worth mentioning, there's a lot of zebra mussels out there, and when I was fishing down the back of that bar, after catching a fish, I noticed I had quite a few weak spots in my line, so I did end up putting snag leaders on. I put the Fox Submerge 40 pound, I put about 15 foot of that on, you know, just to ensure that, you know, I was protecting my line. And I've still been checking the line after every time I bring it in, really, and there has been a couple of zebras stuck to the line, but it seems to have combated the problem. So if you haven't been here and you're thinking about coming here, that's just one thing, you know, worth mentioning. So yes, unless anything else happens, that is going to be it from me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, your support really means a lot to me. And I guess there's nothing else left to say apart from, I'll see you on the next one.